Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in, y'all, on the eve of the celebration of Martin Luther King's birthday, which is today, tomorrow, or whatever time you view this video. Y'all, I've tried to make this video several times, and I can't really get across what I want to say. I want to tell you that I remember, when they were trying to get this day set aside to commemorate Dr. King's birthday. I want to tell you how even after they did, several states refused to recognize it as, a national holiday. I want to tell you all of this because this has been in my lifetime. Years ago when I was younger, I didn't even think about that one day I would be telling someone the stories about things that I remember. But I remember distinctly being taught in school that this was important, that it was important for us to have this day. And I want to tell y'all all of this. But I've started and stopped this video several times trying to think of a funny or clever way to tell these stories. But there is no funny or clever way. This is a day that is very important to us as far as civil rights. It not only represents the birthday of Martin Luther King, but it also pays homage to all of those people who gave their lives, who sacrificed for us to have what we have today. I've done several videos where I talked about I don't feel like this generation fully appreciates the gift that we have been given. And I include myself in this generation because about 15 or 20 years ago, I didn't think about the importance of this holiday when I was in my day-to-day life, raising my kids, the hustle and bustle of just working and trying to make it. Until one day, I was home on Martin Luther King birthday. I worked at a job that we had the day off, and I was at home watching all these things that were on television, telling us the story of the civil rights movement. One documentary after another, one movie after another, one celebrity telling what it was like, back in their time when they had to go in back doors of venues that they were playing. Now they could sing there, but they couldn't eat there, they couldn't sleep there. I watched stories of politicians talk about what it was like before some of the things that our parents and grandparents fought for, what the country was like for a black person. I remember talking to my grandfather, my grandmother, and my elders, and they told me a lot about what it was like prior to the civil rights movement. And I remember vowing to myself that I would always take off that day, if nothing else but to honor all of those people, to pay homage to all those people, to give them a thank you for everything that they did for us, everything they sacrificed for us. I took all that for granted. I forgot that I was not white, and it was just not a given that there had been people that had died for me to have the job that I had, to live where I lived, for my kids to go to school where they were going to school at. None of that was just a given to us. We had to fight for that. And what annoys me nowadays, what annoys me more than ever, is this self-entitled generation that we have now. And if you're a part of that generation, then I'm going to say one thing. All of this is not your fault. It's not your fault that you don't want to hear about, what happened in the past. If you didn't grow up with parents telling you your history and making you sit down to listen or sit down to watch a documentary or sit down to watch a movie, then that's not your fault, you know? But what is your fault is now that you are an adult and you know that African Americans had a troubled history in this country. And if you don't want to know about, where you come from or the people that sacrifice their lives so you could have what you have today, then you know what? Shame on you. Shame on you. Because when I really sit down and think about what is it in my life that I am willing to die for, that it means so much to me that I'm willing to be hosed down by fire hoses and, bit by dogs and, bombed, in churches. What in me is willing to sacrifice that much for something that I might die trying to get, but I'm doing it because I want my children and my grandchildren to have a better life. That's what I think about when I think about, the MLK holiday. It is, named after Martin Luther King, but it also makes us think about all the people who sacrificed for us. So going into this holiday, I always take a moment and I sit down alone somewhere and I play the entire I Have a Dream speech. I close my eyes, I pretend that I am there when he gave that speech. And in the beginning, when I first started doing this, I would always be in tears by the end of the speech. But as I have listened to it year after year after year, every year I hear something different. And I think what it is because every year I'm 1 year older, I'm 1 year more mature, and now I actually listen to the words and try to understand everything that he was trying to get across. And every year I'm more proud of the strength that my people have to overcome everything. We hear those lines, over and over, that our people were strong and that they overcame a lot. But y'all, think about where we started in this country when we were brought here, and think about where we are today. If that is not a strength in a people, then I don't know what is. And I want you guys tomorrow, wherever you are, even if you can't listen to the entire speech, take a moment and listen to a little bit of it. If you can't listen to it, read it and think about what he's saying. Sometimes we hear the speech, but we don't actually take the time to read every line, to hear everything that he said. We don't hear what he's saying. And there were other speeches that Martin Luther King gave around that time that are just so phenomenal that it's unbelievable. For him to only have been, in his 30s when he gave these speeches, he was really something else, y'all. He was really something else. We give all this, to these singers and rappers, and we say that they're lyrical geniuses and all that stuff. But we have a man that wrote a speech that has endured 50 years, and we don't take the time to listen to that, but we'll give Jay-Z or Beyonce the shine and say that they're a genius. Martin Luther King was a genius. In 50, 60 years from now, they won't even know what a Jay-Z or Beyonce is, but they will remember a Dr. King, a Medgar Evers, a Malcolm X. So I go in tomorrow with all of that. And with that, y'all, I have nothing else to say. For some people, this video may be boring. For others, they may be able to understand what I was trying to get across. And I just say, happy birthday, Martin Luther King, and all of the others who gave their life for us. You guys have a great night. Bye-bye now.